And I sat with you a couple times in your office, watched you watch film, and kind of said, "Here's a tweener. Here's his size. Here's his weight." So you're like the fine detail. You've watched Nick Suriano's, the Joe Grellos, right in that Bergen Catholic gym. You watched Ashnault wrestle. Like, you probably know for the most part, you got a really good eye which kids are flat out stars, right? You could look at Anthony and Nick Suriano in high school and say, these guys are going to be stars. Where are you at with that in football? I mean, it's obviously a lot different. Is a kid going to grow? Is he going to get bigger? Is he going to get faster? Is he going to get stronger? He's not in a weight class, right? Where are you at with that? Have there been misses? Have you bet everything on a kid? This kid's going to be great, and it doesn't pan out. Where are you at with that whole? And what are you looking for? What are you really looking for in a recruit?
So it's funny, when I was a high school coach, I used to travel, to colleges all the time, and it was almost always because it was always something I had an interest in. Eventually making a move to college football. I used to ask all the time, like what their miss rate was, and a lot of guys, I think the guys that were pretty honest would say, probably 25 to 35% of the guys they took, they probably missed on, and so I would say that there certainly are guys that happens with. I don't see how it couldn't happen, but I think that's why, what are you looking for? Well, you're looking for measurables for sure, but I think the more you're able to dig down deep and find out more about a kid, I'm sure you're able to figure out what is going to be the determining factor and whether this kid is successful. Like, can he travel away from home? I'm sure just like you guys, like, some guys, they're super talented. And then when the talent is equal, maybe they don't have it, that it factor to, to win big matches or whatever it is, or they have the ability to learn that. So I think that you're right. The talent part isn't hard to figure out. But, there are certainly guys that have been missed on. So I think it's really, especially now with what's going on, we have so much time to recruit. We really should have an opportunity to dig down deeper than ever. You can't do it face to face, but you do have an opportunity to get to know all the people around them. So I think coach is great about that, like trying to really figure out what makes people tick. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying before about, you're learning every day. Like, I'm learning, how do you do that? How do you get down and, more than simply conversations with the kid, but I think it's important because I think the more you know about someone, the better chance you have of making sure they're the right guy. And the other thing that's really interesting is you were talking about projecting, like now we got to go out and, I don't know, you're recruiting sophomores and freshmen that, they can't even, you're projecting so far ahead, and how much are they going to grow? How much, a kid's a 6'3" sophomore and he's done growing, opposed to a 6'3" sophomore, or maybe a 6'1" sophomore that's going to be 6'5". Those are things that, you go in and talk to their coach and like, this guy's going to be 6'5", and you're like, all right, he's 17 already. Like, I doubt it. Other guys, your kid's like, 15-year-old junior, and you're like, holy cow, this guy might, he might be huge. But so those things are always interesting. I think the more you know people that are around him, and you trust them, the better chance you have of getting it right.
Yeah.